So, thank you guys, and I have fortunately lost my voice, so I'll be speaking very softly and very respectfully. You need to close the door. Respectfully. So, this is not usual me, so you'll be very happy. And Anoma in the break was telling me that she's eager to learn from me. Unfortunately, I'm not going to teach anything. I'm going to have a discussion with you guys on this thing called alternate dispute resolution, and try to come up with some idea and maybe some working arrangement what the hell this thing is. And I think some of you guys, we previously in our office had a brief chat, so this is more of an extension of that. So some of the slides and some of the tricks I use there, you might find it here as well. You will find them more familiar. So before going into alternate dispute resolution, I would like to continue from where Jack stopped. Nice bag, Anoma, by the way. And justice. What is justice? Justice Ministry, of course, is there in Halsdorf, and there is a board and everything. And justice. And he was telling about justice gap and justice being given to more people, justice, having access to justice, delays in getting justice done. So just can we take few minutes and kind of, could you be able to give me your feedback or your idea on justice? What is justice? And can everybody see this one? And although I work for British Council, my spellings could be very bad, so be aware of that. And people intend, actually my friends, when I tell them that I work for British Council, they are all shocked because of my language ability. So, what is justice?
I think the justice is a genuine solution for a person who faces a kind of problem.
Justice is a somewhat of a solution for a problem. Very good. If we don't have a problem, we don't need justice, is it? The reverse could also be true, no then? Is it the same thing? Even if we don't have problems, do we need justice? Or is it always justice connected to problems?
No, why just as an answer to your question, I don't think we need to have a problem to have justice. Ideally, the base situation should be one where you are guaranteed justice.
Yeah, exactly. So, justice is not something you go with a problem. Even without a problem, there has to be some minimum standards. Minimum standard. But that minimum differs from country to country, place to place, and even context to context. But could that be differed? Or shouldn't that be universal? We are all human. So justice for humans, but again we are South Asian, Sri Lankan. So if we get Scandinavians or North Americans, Japanese, Chinese, is justice different in those places? What do you think, Tina? I know you are thinking about these things. There could be different ways of implementing justice. I don't know.
I think expectations of who are seeking justice is different.
Mhm. Expectations could be different.
Expectations of who are seeking justice is
මගේ
different.
කෝප් එක ගෙනිච්ච කවුද? Okay. The way the people's expectations could be different. What we in a Sri Lankan context, what we expect, and somebody in Norway or Sweden would expect, and somebody in Congo or Chad would expect, could be different. And it depends on the awareness as well as the problem, and as well as on many variables, Yeah, and we have this whole idea of everyone is equal. But we know that everyone is equal, but some are more equal than others, So within equals, some get more preferential treatment. If you are rich, justice is very quick and very reasonable. If you are poor, vulnerable, you live in a region, and if you are a woman, and if you are from LGBT communities, justice could be very far and very unreasonable. But is it okay? Or could there be some kind of a reasonable ground where until everyone is treated probably equally, could we have some sort of a common ground? So these are some of the questions I would like you all to think of. I mean, I don't have solutions. We are not here to give solutions as well. Just think of these things. And justice. So our systems is that the implementers of the justice. Who is implementing justice? The institutions, you see. Who implements justice in? Yeah, the judiciary. You see the police, prison systems, and they don't call prisons now, corrections. And sometimes you get other connected institutions as well. So are these institutions working for justice? Justice is justice equals to law, or two different things? Exactly, two different things. So these institutions, are they working for justice or are they working for law? Are we working for justice, or we should work for justice, or should we be working for law? Law is supposed to be correct and equal to everyone. Equal in the sense it could be equally good or equally bad. So there was one judge, she used to always tell that don't worry, I don't discriminate anybody who comes in front of me. I am equally cussed to all. So you can be equally good as well as equally bad. So this whole debate, think about are these institutions working for justice, or are they working for law? They work for law, not for justice.
Like, but the priority they give for law, actually. They give more priority to law.
Yeah. Yeah. What matters is what we think. In the end, the facts and the perspectives is the same. So just think of these things. I'm just trying to put some ants into your pants so that they will bite you at a later stage, hopefully. So think about these things. And why is these institutions not working for justice and only for law? Yeah, that's a discussion for a later stage. But think of why. But in some places of the world, in some contexts, some jurisdictions, as we lawyers say, in some jurisdictions, they actually, people receive justice. So think about these things. So while you are thinking on this, let's go to little bit park that justice discussion, and to add some insult into the injury, let me again flash something about Jack said. He said about those delays, the cases are delayed. I'll give you a few examples. Few years back, our bar association, the lawyers association, we did a survey 2019. This is pre-COVID. So the numbers, the years I'm going to give might be doubled by now. So average minimum petty crime case, if you go to the magistrate courts, for that to be sorted, it takes from 3 months to 3 years. 3 months to 3 years, just a small thing. If it is a major criminal activity like a murder or a rape or something in that nature, it takes from 7 years to 19 years. 19 years to get the final order. If it is a divorce, 1.5 years to 9 years. You got married to somebody, you don't like it, to get that sorted, you get 9 years. If it is a contract obligations, you signed a contract MMCA with Anoma, and Anoma is not happy about the contract. She goes to the court. 3.5 years to 7 years, the range. So if it is a land matter, your land is encroached by myself, and I am saying your ancestral land where you lived for generations is not yours, Tinal, mine, and you have to go to courts. 15 years to 65 years. 65 years. You can gladly get your children or relatives inherit your legal thing. So that is the context we are. So in such a situation, if we can settle things without going to court, that would be good or bad. What do you say, Milani? Good. It's good. So that is one way one reason why we are saying that alternate dispute resolution is good. But on the same token, I would like to flash a little bit about the future of lawyering, or this legal industry as we call it. So legal entrepreneurs, no, I'm like, lawyers are legal entrepreneurs. So with the artificial intelligence coming in, all these things will also change. So I'm going to tell you about the future as well, because my discussion will be placed on the brighter and happy future, and between the Sri Lankan 65 years limit. So it should be hanged somewhere in between. So artificial intelligence, recently I was searching and then found some interesting information. In China, they are doing some testing on artificial intelligence related cases, on cases which are less than 5,000 US dollars, but on commercial transactions. So they initially started with one province, and in 2017, and it was admired by the recipients, and they started in other 2 provinces as well. So 98% the people are not appealing. So the thing is, it's dealt with by AI judge. Both parties would fill in the forms and give the information, all the data needed, and then order is being delivered. If you are not happy with the order, you can always go to a actual judge, a person, a human judge. But 98% of the cases, the people did not want the human judge. They were okay. And average, they started from 2022, the other districts also. From 2022 to now, they have had so many hundreds, thousands of cases. Can you consider in the Sri Lankan time period also, guess how long does it take for one average case to be solved? How many days? Yes, sir. Yeah, whatever. Just a guess, wild guess. Manika, how many?
Average.
Yeah, average, just a guess, average. Dumesha, is you or Sunday? Any guesses?
For example, for the case of the the vehicle things, if the police get the license and all, to solve that we need at least 1 week. So it's like 1 week to, like normal single cases will take around 3 months to 6 months.
Yeah, in China they are on the special ones. They are only dealing with commercial ones, commercial issues, contract things. So to save time, it's 37 minutes. 37 minutes average. They have already had 350,000 cases so far. So the average is 37 minutes, while in Sri Lanka contractual issues, as Jack said, 6 months to 3.5 years, if you are lucky. So, in such a context, do you think foreign investors would come to Sri Lanka and do business here? You sign a contract, you are not happy. You will take 3.5 years for you to get something done. So that is the China 37 minutes. In Sri Lanka, we have 65 years. So in between, we have a choice. Just we'll park that as well in one side. So there are so many things parked now, isn't it, Nilani? You're thinking. Tell me, what do you think? You don't want to tell now. You can tell me in the break. Right. So with that positive note, let's discuss about conflict. 37 minutes or 65 years. Right. So what is the first thing that comes to your mind when somebody says conflict? The first thing that comes to your mind. One word, just the first thing that comes to your mind. Conflict. Loss. Good. I have a hearing issue. Why signing?
Disagreement.
Disagreement. One word. No. Disagreement. Disagreement.
Keep
Someone,
there.
otherwise people can't hear.
Yeah.
Fight.
You have to use the mic. Mic not working.
It doesn't work.
Yeah. Manika, will you be so kind to ask them to sort out this issue? Yeah, we have only one working mic apparently. That one is also not working. Fight. Yes. And pen is also dying down. Any Sandev?
Natural.
Natural. Yeah. What do you think? Anushka? Muranpad. It's conflict, no? So when you hear the word conflict, you feel the same. Right. Anybody else? Anoma?
Could be positive too. Positive also.
Positive, yeah. If I like tell you to imagine color, if conflict is being like, what is the first color that comes to your mind when somebody says conflict? What would be that?
Black.
Black for you, yeah. How about you?
Red.
Red.
Dark gray.
Dark gray, red, red, black, orange, yes.
Red.
Right. Which color, Manika?
Sorry, I missed all that.
When somebody says conflict, what would be the first color that
Red.
comes to your mind? Red. Okay. So, let's park that also in one side. The park is about to be full now, no? Lot of things have been parked. Is conflict good or bad? Just one word. Good, bad. Good කියන අතොස්සන් the people who say good. Conflict is good. Only Hanusha and Anoma. Anoma bhagya half 0.5 are full. Two people, the ladies are saying conflict is good. Nilani?
Both.
Okay.
It's because of the like type decide what is good or bad.
Depending on the
Type.
type.
Yeah, it's both, depending on the situation.
Yeah. How about you?
The beginning of it could be bad because it is a disagreement that leads to it, but it could have positive alternative endings, I suppose.
Yeah. I'm not going to ask someday. Right. So, when conflict is being, I mean, like when I asked you guys, two of you said conflict is good. And actually for Anoma, it's very good. But some of the others, I think probably the majority of you said it's both, depending on the conflict. And you very correctly said sometimes initiated with bad but could transform into or lead into a positive alternative endings. Could be. And some of you might be thinking it's bad as well. So, if conflict is a good thing and a kind of a positive thing, sometimes why did like some of the things that came to our mind first, loss, disagreement or muranpada, that kind of a more negative thing, why did negative things came to our mind?
It's because of the result of the conflicts.
Yeah, because of the
Result,
outcome
outcome.
and as well as our experience,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes.
Because most of the time our experience on dealing with conflict, it's again contextual, and I'm somewhat generalizing, is mostly not that good, no, dealing with conflict. Like when we look into our average Sri Lankan family dealing with conflicts, how was our experience when we had a conflict with our siblings or neighbors? How did our parents dealt with that? Did they ask both of us, both the parties, to come and sit and talk, or slapped one party and dealt with that? In the school, how did these things were dealt with? In the village, how did the people dealt with issues? In our workplaces, how did like, because you are a different sample, because most of you guys could be like from city, middle class, and then these things change depending on our social status as well. But that's why I said I'm generally looking at average Sri Lankan society. So how would we deal with these things? So those things really matters when it comes to the first thing that comes to our mind. And the colors, I mean, you guys are the experts in colors, so I'm not going to say anything about it. But sometimes people say when dark red or gray represents more sad or negative feelings, but I don't know. There are a lot of disagreements as well as agreements on that. So these things, if conflict is good, you guys said conflict is good, and some are saying both, but our experience in dealing with conflict could be different. So let's see these few small points before going into our next point. Can you take a minute and go through? So conflict is good. Conflict becomes bad when violence is involved, no? These are just again very generalized general things. And conflict is natural and it's inevitable. It happens. We don't have control over that. What we can do is the way we are going to respond to conflict comes from our environment, family, school, work, and the choice happens when we learn things, when we are more exposed to education, art, film, when we travel, and when we learn new things. We follow the religious stuff, whatever the religion we follow. Or sometimes even without a religion, we would follow certain good things. I mean, not all the good things are coming from religions alone, no? So with those things, as well as like through our other educational things, workshops, and different type of engagements with our colleagues and all. So all these things give us more exposure, and more exposure strengthens as well as it increases the choices in our menu. So if we have a longer menu dropping down with so many things, then we are more equipped to deal with conflict. If we are less equipped, it will only be violence. Conflict happens, you jump out, a small traffic accident happens, the vehicle is 600 lakhs or 1500 lakhs, very expensive Porsche or whatever, Mercedes, this and that. But the guy comes out, speaks in raw filth, and tries to have his weapon and shoot you just for a minor issue. So in Sinhalese we say, "Le dunnata mole denna ba." You can do blood transfusion, but the brain cannot be transplanted. Or the idea is that knowledge can't be given, injected. No, it's not easy. So sometimes one could be very rich, but the exposure could be different. So sometimes we get we have this idea that rich people are good, or the educated people are good, or people who has lot of artwork at their homes are good. More paintings hanging, you see them all the time going into exhibitions and watching films and concerts and all. But sometimes it is helpful, but sometimes it is not. So think of these things also. So the exposure, education, awareness increases the number of choices. More choices we have, is more civilized we are. So this is something which are very minimal, simple, but I just want to give you as basic information on before going into our discussion. So as I told you in the beginning, this is I'm not going to teach you anything. We are just going to have a discussion. So if you have anything at any point, just give me a signal and say this is rubbish and I know most of that, or I don't agree, or my experience is different. This could be true in Colombo, but in Jaffna it is not true, or in Hatton it is different. It is. It actually is. So when a policeman stops a lady in Colombo, and what he says, and in other parts of the country what he says is different. So is that what we call the celebrating the diversity? So anything around the first slide? Domesha? All good? How nice. Melanie? Not that good, huh? Any question? Clarification? These are all very vague, as well as this could be very contextual. So there could be like so many types of conflicts which will not even come out and might be inside somebody's mind, and the person could be very subtle and nice and whatever, but he or she might do totally different things in different contexts. This is the human nature. So I think what you are saying is true, and conflict becomes bad when violence is involved, and sometimes it is necessary to use violence. You call the necessary violence, because without that sometimes justice cannot be achieved. So there are different extensions of all these things. These are just minor, like minimum basic stuff, and some of them are just there for you to kind of like think of other things, reflect back on your experiences, and so that you could be provoked, and you could think it's not that true, or this is too general, or it's not my experience, kind of a thing. And I fully agree. It all depends. The idea is just to think around it, and so that you are reflecting on your experience.
The last one, the communication skills. Education, awareness, and the communication skills also.
Yeah, could be added.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Definitely. Yeah, because one of the, in dealing with workplace conflict and in family issues, as well as in some inter-institutional, inter-organizational, or even between countries, communication between communities, the type of communication is very important. And even the idea of one could communicate with the other itself is an achievement.
The ability, sometimes the language, everything.
Yeah, and accepting that you can communicate with some people, because some people think that the world should be homogeneous, everyone should be Sinhala Buddhist and wearing white saris and sarongs and underwears. So for these people, that is how they have been brought up with. So they would think that that is how everyone should also dress up, and that is how every morning 5 o'clock you need to have all these sermons and everything. But on the other side, with a different group of religious or whatever the name you wish to call, they might also have similar views. So the extremist or the one-end ideologies might have all these kind of very, we would call it not respecting to diversity, but for them, they might have a different interpretation. So communication, or even communicating with the other side of the bridge, might not be an option for some of these people. They would say there is nothing to be communicated. We need to convert them. Or they need to accept that we are the original owners of this country or whatever. So they came later, therefore they all should be converted, and so that we can live happily ever after. So there are different ideas. So when you go into the field, it is not that easy as you were saying in the beginning. So this is just idea generating statements, nothing beyond or nothing more, nothing less. Another few small points. This was supposed to be an iceberg, but due to the climate change and things, it seems the iceberg has melted in the process of lost in translation, like that from the computer to the overhead projector. The tip of the iceberg has melted. No, you don't see anything on top of that. No. So the you all know the iceberg. This is just a concept where people introducing conflict. What we would say, conflict is like an iceberg, not the vegetable iceberg, the actual iceberg. So on top, generally it's a small bit, and in an iceberg, so underneath the water, you get the bigger and larger part of the iceberg. So the visible part is much more smaller. So we say in conflict studies that it's equivalent to the visible part of the conflict. So in a conflict, the fighting, the action, the bombs, the explosions, shooting, all these things are the visible part. So it's equivalent to the iceberg's visible part, and what you don't see when the iceberg floats, underneath there is quite a lot of ice which you don't see. That is equivalent to the reasons which made the conflict to happen. Machani, we kept a special place for you in the front. So, the other root causes, the visible part you can see, the root causes which made the conflict to happen, you may not see. Again, generalizing, what are some of the root causes for conflict? Anyone wants to comment? Hanusha, මූල හේතු මොනවද? ගැටුමක් ඇති වෙන්න බලපාන. ගැටුමක පේන්න තියෙන දේවල් අපි දකිනවා. ඒවා පේනවා. හැබැයි ගැටුම ඇති වෙන්න බලපාපු මූල හේතු අපිට පේන්නේ නැහැ. So, what are the root causes? Very good, you have been listening throughout.
Differences which lead to divisions, or like the power imbalances of differences that lead to divisions.
Yes, especially the power imbalances, the divisions are then created. Anything else you wish to? No comments? You reserve the comments? No comment also. Ladies.
No. I keep thinking about conflicts. Normally people believe that conflicts would come between different people. But I will not agree with that because I think the conflicts make the divisions. So, for example, like when we normally talk about conflicts, we think that there are two different languages or two different castes or something. But I think beyond that, a kind of conflicts create the differences. So, for example, I really want to talk a real incident, but I think about conflicts like that's how the friends come into my work. For that, I just want to talk about it. There's an aunt and her niece. So they're living like in the neighborhood. So there's a little kind of talks that become a very big conflict. So in the end, she cut the hand with a knife of the niece. So the same family, same caste, same background, same blood, everything. So when we talk about conflict, we feel like everyone should have one blood or something, but it's the same blood. So I think the conflicts make that kind of differences. So it's not only about differences, diversity.
Yeah, different experience. Sometimes they say that it is not the people, it is the consequences that make people. The God on technology seems to be gone little upset about something, maybe because of because the Malchani I think may have offended the communication gods. Yes, ma'am.
நிறைவேறாத ஆசைகளும் கோபங்களும் தான் அந்த ஆழ்மனத்துல வந்து சேமிக்கப்படுது. அது ஒரு சின்ன பிள்ளை சின்ன காலத்திலிருந்தே அது உள்ளுக்குள்ள மறைஞ்சு வந்து அது பெரிய ஆளா வரும்போது ஒரு இடத்துல வெளிப்படுது. அதுதான் கீழே மேலவா இருக்கிற பகுதி.
Very loosely translating it, different desires that are built into you or that you learn from the time you're little, that only you are able to act on when you're older or things like that can essentially bring out, be the underpinning for conflict, how you're raised and how those desires manifest when you're older.
And by the way, I mean it's a small group, so you can speak in any language and we'll try to sort it out in between. So any language, not Russian or Ukrainian, that I hope you are not going to do that. So, root causes. What are the root causes of conflict? Which is not seen, but which is underneath. නෑ මේක වෙන එකක්. Any root causes you could think of?
I think the political history of the context, which we have moved beyond whatever that happened several decades before, but then the effects of those political decisions or events still reverberate and then come up and go out.
Yeah, and this narrative, the history, we say that in very singular formation, but there are histories. They say that until the lion starts writing, all the stories are written by the hunter and are in very different perspective. So this whole idea of the history or the histories and what actually happened, or how different parties have perceived these things, and sometimes these things really have issue. Any other thing, any other reason for root causes? Which is not seen. Root causes are not seen, but are the reasons for the conflict. So the iceberg is up there in the actual presentation. Do you think it's good to give the handout, Jack?
No.
Yeah, because the iceberg in this thing is not an iceberg anymore.
If you use the pointer, you would be able to point to the small.
Yeah, but still there is nothing there to be pointed.
We can see a little bit.
Yeah, but the actual one is much bigger. The actual one was about this big, but this one is very real effect. The climate change has seriously affected the iceberg. We usually give the handouts at the end because otherwise the audience gets a little distracted, but we'll have the handout and see. Right. So, yes, Neil. Yeah, selfish reasons. People don't think of the others. People only think of themselves individually, or then we have this group, no, our people, like us.
But start with birth and then.
Yeah, sometimes. Like we are, like in Sinhalese we say, මිනිස්සු වැඩි කිරීම එකතු කිරීමට කැමති, අඩු කිරීම බෙදීමට කැමති නැහැ කිය. So it's like the people are like collecting and multiplying, they are happy, but reducing and dividing, not happy. So these selfish reasons, individually the idea, or as a group or communities, families, or extending upwards. Any more ideas?
Yeah, it start with an individual and it spread to, like it's multiple, like firstly for me and then for my family and then for my people, like that. So that's also
And it extends, starts with me, and then after my bag is full, you go for the family bag, and then we saw it pretty much with one regime, no, that first the, Einstein, you have heard of Albert Einstein, no? He's the one who said, Anoma, that everything is relative, no? Everything is relative. And Mr. Mahinda Rajapaksa said, relatives are everything. So he's also like Einstein, no? So as Nilani is saying, is that first individual is fulfilling the desires, and then the family, and then families, friends, and the friends of the families, and it will extend further up. So this selfishness could be one root cause. So anything else, or could we proceed accordingly? I hope that the video will capture everything in context. Right. So this next thing, the conflict business, conflict industry is full of triangles. The conflict industry prefers triangles over the squares or the circles. I know some industries like circles more, but conflict industries triangles. You're thinking why, no? I also don't know. So there's this ABC triangle, which was initially coined by John Galtung or Galtung. Different people pronounce him differently. So he gave this he's a mathematician. I think he has come to Sri Lanka a few times as well. And this ABC triangle is very simple concept, but explains quite a lot. So he says there is a connection between attitude, A, and behavior and context or contradiction. And when you have attitude, it affects the behavior, and when you behave in such a way, it creates more contradiction. More contradiction creates more attitudinal changes. More attitudinal changes would change more behavioral changes. More behavioral changes would change more contradiction. So like a spiral, this would go upward with the conflict or the violence being further increased. So this kind of a spiral kind of a effect is how a conflict initiates with a small thing and then goes up. So it's more like so with more attitudinal changes, the behavior changes, the behavior contradiction, like that. So this will increase the conflict negatively upwards. So then how are we going to, or is it possible to reduce the conflict also? Can we do that? If it is going up, can we reduce that also? What could we do to reduce upward mobility or upward increasing of issue? Any suggestions?
We should try and look at the bar at like the very lowest level so that it does not misguide, because it's harder to sort of start from right, like the hardest step, because we could be at the top and we could sort of try and reduce or stop it at the very beginning. So I would say like at the very triangle.
We could make interventions at the initial stages, okay, We could intervene at different points. What kind of interventions could we do? How could we intervene or it's on.
I guess depends on maybe we could have both parts. I mean, it's pretty basic as normally happens. We have both parts together as we need everything sort of. Hello. Yeah. So I think it's pretty basic when it comes to conflict between two parties or different individuals, where you normally would have both parties, say, the mediator who runs through some questions between both parties to see their view on things, so they have both like a solution that works. I think it's very challenging.
Okay, very good. So we could make interventions. So we could do some interventions to change the behaviors. If the behavior is changed, then it will affect both the attitude as well as the contradiction. What could we do to change the behaviors? We could shoot few of them down, prison them. We could arrest them under PTA. We could use that the other most important legislation where they used to this what is this? I just forgot it. The one they used recently, Venerable Jnanasara Thero to be, and all these comedians and all. Anybody remembers? ICCPR Act, yeah. You can use ICCPR Act to behave some people.
Or you could use arts.
You could use art. Is art effective as ICCPR Act as well, or using art could end up with being prosecuted under ICCPR Act? Art could be used to change the behavior, and any other forms. Oh,
Creating awareness.
yeah, creating awareness and education. I think for the behavior as well as attitudinal change, both art as well as education. That's why we do educate people. No, the whole purpose or one of the purposes is of education is to make people more aware of things, and then the assumption is the attitudes would be changed, and the whole purpose of the invention of some of the religions is also to change attitudes and change the behaviors of the people, and then eventually to reduce the contradictions, hopefully. Anything else? Education, awareness, art, anything else where we could inject into any of these points so that this vicious upward cycle could be brought down or reduced? Anything else? Yes, sorry.
Legal and especially
කවු මදි. කවු කියන්නේ කවිනේ. මදි කියන්නේ කවි ලියුවා මදිද? නෑ.
Legal and institutional informations.
Yes. legal as well as other instruments, so that you could have some sort of a sane balance of the things. Somebody is too much, then the things could, but on attitudes it's very difficult to use legal things, but on the behavior as well as on conflict you can use the legal instruments. But again, in a country like ours, what we are seeing is some of the legal instruments are being weaponized for political and religious reasons to make some people happy. So the original purpose is totally being distorted in some of the legal instruments. I think it happens in some of other jurisdictions, other countries as well. So, however, it's a good point. Anything else? Could we do anything else to we can think of these things. You can process them in the process of
creating common spaces for intellect, kind of. Will it comes into this creating common spaces, especially like in a country like Sri Lanka, we are divided, polarized. So
yes, definitely. So we are divided and screwed up to such extent, anything would be happy, anything would go, no? So in such a situation, common spaces where divided people could freely and trustfully, if the people could gather. So some of the ideas of our work is also to create platforms for divided people to come up and express their true feelings, so that people can forge new friendships and depending on their connections they could take it to a different level. So just think about these things. I'm just putting different points into your head. So other than that, let's go into the other one. So this is the famous story. I'm not going to tell the story because almost all of you are aware of this. Everyone knows, I told this in our office also. You know the orange story, no? Anybody who has not heard? Anika? How could? I will. You also don't know? Jesus Christ. All the big people, most experienced. No, the story goes like this. In a family, there are two identical twins, let's say girls. So these two girls are in the school. They comes after school, and then they see a big orange on the table, kitchen table, and one comes first and she takes it and says, this is mine. And the other one comes next and she says, I want this. So both of them are fighting for the same orange. Then the mother comes in, and mother is being forced to intervene because the two girls are about to have a major conflict over this orange. So the question is, if you are in the position of the mother's role, how would you respond? What would you do? One orange, two girls, both girls are identical. So even if it is not, a mother would look at things differently. So if you were the mother, what would you have done? Yes. Malshani says the best thing legally and morally correct. You divide the orange into two equal halves and give, because what I am saying is equal halves is the village, the place I live is called Mahabagi. So if it is two bage, one both has to be equal, no, cannot be a Mahavan, no. So bhaga dekak kapala deno, so equally being given. Any other things? Manika, what would you do?
I was also thinking half-half, but I'm sure there's a trick question here.
No, there is no trick. This is just about oranges. Anoma, what would you do? Yeah. 1/3. So,
At least.
3 people equally shared, at least. So you would try to have half for you and quarter for the others. And if it doesn't work, then you will.
Because there's a labor cost involved, no? That you have to peel it and, segment it and.
Of course, always a cost is involved. No, what would you do, Nilani? Why manada karna?
I will let them to feed to others. Like if you like put the orange in the center and I let them to feed to others, not eat yourself. You have to give the other, and the other will have to give the others. Feed the opposite side.
Feed the other. So you assume that because of that, the other person will be very generous and everyone, both of them will share.
We can just create a kind of understanding.
So it might create an understanding between the parties. Okay, interesting. What would you do? Half. Other than that, nothing. Tinal.
There's no one else at home. Only the two girls and the mother.
Fortunately.
Remove the orange also.
You would throw the orange out.
Take it out of the equation. This orange is
Yeah.
You can donate it to the temple.
They will gladly receive it. So,
Or the mother could say, I'm going to take the orange since I got up.
so instead of, so you are thinking of an
Alternate.
much more alternative and much profitable extension of what Anoma said. She was happy to take 1/3 or half, and whereas Manika is saying to get the whole thing. සම්පූර්ණ එකම ගන්නවා. Yes, Masha.
So I think I said half before. That was the mother determining what the children should get. Maybe another option is the mother asking the children for a solution of, okay, so if you want for them to come up with a solution, which might lead to half, or rather than the mother determining by themselves, because if the mother determines it for this time, the next time also is going to happen.
So what I said to let them to feed each other. Sometimes one will like the taste, the other one won't. So she might decide that okay, syrup for me, so like she will take the diabetes or something. So that's why I say like, once you have feel the taste, then you will decide.
Yeah. Sometimes when you see something and when you eat that, it's different experience, no? Sometimes things are nicer from far, but when you go closer, they are far from nice, no? So that experience. Anybody else? Anusha? Half. That's all. You are happy half. Everyone else had clairvoyancy, you know. She was thinking and others just said so. So next time don't think, because they will know. So half didn't work. Both the girls are saying, I want the full orange and nothing but the orange. So it didn't work. 1/3, can a decent mother do such a wicked thing, Manoma? There is this identical twins, your own two girls are fighting, and you are also thinking of having the whole one, Manik. Such bad mothers. So feed the other. They are saying, no, we are elderly and we are doing O levels and we are in 2 different classes. Although we are big girls, we are not going to feed this, we are not buying this shit, so don't come to preach us on these minor matters. These are girls, not boys. You could, they are very intelligent girls. So take the orange out. That could have been easier if these were 2 boys, but the girls, they are very vigilant and they know their rights. You cannot fool them and you cannot take the thing out. So none of them worked. What do you propose, Milani?
I can't think of.
You don't like oranges?
Yeah, that's what I was actually thinking when you put the orange there, because this is not a Sri Lankan orange. And like, there's this famous thing, while that is there, while you were borrowing and orange color orange. That's what I was like, thought process.
Exactly. Different ideas comes, no? It's okay. Anything else? How would you know the...
You could ask them why they want the orange.
Yeah. The thing is, in the end, what did the mother do is that she asked the girls this simple question. Why do you need the orange? All the time we were looking at the argument, no? Both of them were asking for the full orange, and as the mother, you guys were thinking that you have to always, there is this single thing you need to give it to. But what actually happened in this case was, this is just an example. The mother asked, why do you need the orange from the girls? Why? Why do you need the full orange? Because both the girls were asking for the whole orange. Why do you need the whole orange? සම්පූර්ණ ගෙඩියම ඇයි ඕන? Because දෙන්නම ගෙඩියම ඉල්ලලා තමයි මේ සටන කරේ. Then the girls were saying, although we are twins, we are not in the same class. We are in 2 different classes. In our home science, the lesson, we were taught in one class, they were taught to make how to make orange cake, and on the other class they were told how to make orange juice. So as per the recipe, to make orange cake, they needed a grated peel of a full orange. So one wanted the whole orange, because to make orange cake, to get the authentic flavor and the taste, a full peel is needed. She only wanted the peel. She didn't care about the rest, because her purpose of asking was different. Whereas the other girl, She wanted to make orange juice. She didn't want the peel. She just wanted the middle part only. For her, as per the instructions and the way she has been taught, they needed the middle part and then crushed or whatever, blended, and then put it onto a glass so that they could make a glass of orange juice. So the whole purpose for both parties in this example was different. So without asking why, the mother wouldn't have known why each party is asking these things. So we most of the time tend to assume that others need these things for different reasons. We think that we all thought both the girls were asking the whole orange to eat. That's why we divided, no, half or 1/3, or take the whole thing out. We thought they are going to eat. You were thinking that's why you wanted to feed them, no? They were not thinking of eating it. If we were given half, both parties would have been at a loss, no? Because you could only make half a glass of orange juice, and you could make a half a whatever of cake, no? You won't be able to do. So the in conflicts, sometimes if the whole orange is being given to one girl, then one party wins and the other party would have lost the first option, win-lose. If the mother gave the whole orange to her favorite or whatever, one would win and the other one would have lost. So if we gave half, both parties would have been in a loss. Or if we have thrown away the orange, both parties would have lost. So with our question asking why, we were able to give relatively better outcome for both parties. Because always when the real needs are behind our thing, we don't say that in the first place. We do positional bargaining. The position, we are saying, I want that boy. I want to marry that boy. I want to marry that girl. Or I want a separate state. I want 10,000 rupees. We want 10,000 rupees salary increase. So like that, we always have the position only. We don't say why we need that. So in expanding the situation, in making it more creative, in creating a kind of a more doable, making it more practical or doable, you need to ask or check behind what is there behind the real need or behind the positional bargaining. One of the ways of doing that is asking why. Why do you need that boy? Can't you marry another boy? Or why do you need a separate state? Why do you need 10,000 salary increase? Can't you have 8,000? Or can't you do it in 5? Why? Why 10? Why that boy? Why that girl? So that why question will open up and expand the situation so that new options or little thinking out of the box options would emerge. Then when real needs would come out. So when real needs are there, you could give sustainable solutions. This is just an example. In real life, both parties would say, we want to make a cake, or we want to make orange juice. So the position is not about making cake. We say that when you point the finger at the moon, you look at the finger and say the cutex is not good. So the idea is not the making cake or making orange juice. The idea is that you need to expand the situation. When you are at a stuck, when you are at a bottleneck, and when people are doing positional bargaining, positions cannot be negotiated, no? It's position. My position is this, your position is that. So positions cannot be negotiated. Positions cannot be compromised. The reasons behind the positions, the real need, the actual need. Needs can be discussed, needs can be different. Needs can actually, in this case, it was different. We were thinking it's the same thing, both wanted the orange to be eaten. But the real need was totally different. So if you could ask the reasons behind that, we could have dealt with that positively. So any questions? I can otherwise give the phone to then we will go into the next session. Before that, if you want to stretch your legs, hit your neighbor, and do it in 2 minutes.